not often that opportunities of this nature come forward, so we feel lucky. The school, the community, families, neighborhood association, all working together for a positive purpose.
This belongs to the Cordova Gardens neighborhood, and it is continually evolving into a wonderful place.
As you drive through the Cordova neighborhood in West Phoenix, you'll find an established community with families who've lived here for generations. If you look closer, you'll also find the results of a special, unique project that sets this neighborhood apart from others like it in the city. In 1991, Cordova residents set out to make a difference in their quality of life by joining forces with the city of Phoenix to improve their surroundings. The median islands on 31st Avenue were bleak and empty, with no sense of life. Neighbors wanted something better.
A couple of residents from the community approached the city. They were aware of our public art program, and they simply asked, is there anything you can do to beautify our neighborhood? And focusing on perhaps the medians along 31st Avenue between Bethany Home and Missouri. And the Arts Commission at that time had just implemented a public art program that was vast in scope, and we picked up on this, realizing it'd be a great neighborhood improvement project.
The medians here were once the site of an ancient Hohokam canal. They're now part of a utility corridor for the Salt River Project.
The uniqueness here is that 7 years ago, we sat down with the community and said, what would you want this to look like? And the community married this project with Cordova Grade School. And I think that's the important part. It really sort of sets a theme and a history and hopes and ideals and dreams of the kids.
It was just so plain and nothing there, and they made this beautiful design. All of them worked on them, and they gave our people a chance in the neighborhood to come in and see if we liked the design, and then what we didn't like, they would take out and change.
The design Lillian speaks of is one that Arizona artist Trude Parkinson and landscape architect Michael Dollin initiated with Cordova students. The two were selected by a panel of local artists, teachers, and community leaders. The students were involved from the start.
The children were important from the very beginning. They helped design the whole median strip. That process took probably about a year, just working with the students initially. Then I've come back this last year and worked with students at Cordova School, and they designed milagros, which they made out of metal flashing. Milagros means miracle. The milagros that the children made are I think, very special.
Trudy came to our classes, and we talked about the meaning of milagro, what it meant. The kids had to think of something positive, a wish for themselves, for their family, or for the community, for the world. And then I had them write a sentence or two about the meaning of the milagro, and I think those were the most touching things. Many of the ones that I read really brought tears to my eyes.
My milagro is about my dad. I've seen him, but I don't remember. I just like to see him again, and remember him in my life, and just see him one more time. I was working hard. I drew my mom in a hospital. I wish that miracle could come true, and my mom could feel better again.
Another little girl who has problems with walking with her legs. She did a milagro with two legs separate, and she said, I hope that someday my legs will work like everybody else's.
This is the milagro pole, which is using a telephone pole and utility objects from Salt River Project and community objects and student objects, which we had them make. So in this area, I want to have a combination of the Salt River Project objects and the student milagros, and then I'll put some of the community objects in here. There's some other of the community objects that are pretty wonderful. Well, I put the milagros that I thought were special at the top, and what I imagine is that this top of the pole will reflect the sky. That's my hope, I think, is to be able to have people look at these objects in a different way. Some of them are very beautiful, and they are artifacts of our particular time, so the the thought of trying to make it into something that would be communal, where it would bring people together, that seemed very special.
The milagro pole makes up one of many pieces to the Cordova Gardens project. Landscape architect Michael Dollin worked hand in hand with Trude, integrating the artwork and the landscaping.
We have sort of this underlying theme of cycles, the cycles of water, and sort of the cycles in the life of the neighborhood. You know, children come and go and they grow up and leave the neighborhood and new people come in. And so that idea of cycles is something that has really bonded together the design theme. We're using a lot of desert plant materials, drought-tolerant trees, mesquites, desert willows, palo verdes, and acacias, among others. The big idea behind the constructed objects is that the utilities are part of our landscape. They are part of the urban environment everywhere. And we were really intrigued by the possibility of bringing those utilitarian objects into a public artwork and making them more beautiful, putting them in a garden-like setting.
This year's dedication of the Cordova Gardens project was cause for neighborhood celebration, with kids, community leaders, and those from the city applauding the final results.
We have a unique opportunity here looking at our history, our roots. As I look at it, and I think of what was here before, what we have today, and the effort that has gone into it. It's a wonderful project. It's something that I think everybody can be proud of.
We've planted these plants. We've made these garden dividers. This is not a small project. This is a major project. And that's what the Neighborhood Association has been the catalyst to bring this together. This is owned by the neighborhood.
This was the future of this canal, being so plain, and now it's beautiful. And these kids are going to come back here in this neighborhood even if they move away, and they're going to tell their grandchildren about this.
By involving the kids in the milagro pole and giving them a sense of ownership, this is something they can come back 10, 20 years, to the neighborhood and show their kids and say, look, I was involved in that. I made it happen.
I'd like to say thank you, and I hope that you're proud of our neighborhood, the Cordova neighborhood.